नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातान् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्स्वे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we were discussing the second verse of Nectar of Instruction. So we completed Jana Sangha. So before going to the last one, Laulyam, I thought we'll just revise uh, the previous few things. So last few classes we forgot to revise. So as we generally do, I would ask these questions and you can try to answer in the chat. So we have to revise from Udara Vegam. So what is the difference between Udara and Jiva Vegam? Anybody remembers? Or is it same? Udara and Jiva Vegam. Okay, I think. See, Jiva Vegam talks about the quality of foodstuffs. Okay, we like to taste very tasty, yeah, foodstuffs. And Udara is about the quantity of prasad. Okay, Udara Vegam is quantity and Jiva is about quality. Okay, how much prasad to eat. If you are not able to control, yeah. Next, how to control Udara Vegam as per Ayurveda. we discussed what Ayurveda talks about Udaravegam. Yeah, half stomach should be filled with food, 1/4 with water, and 1/4 should be empty. We compared it to a mixie jar. If it is too much filled, then it's difficult for digestion. And in general, also we discussed about Udaravegam, how to control this Udaravegam. We discussed some things. Anybody remembers? In general, also what to do. Me, whatever is required. Yeah, one is at regulated time, taking at regulated times. Another thing is whatever is required just to keep the body and soul together. That much we can take. We need not take too much. Okay, then comes about Upastavegam. There we discuss two types of brahmacharis. What are the names? Sanskrit names. We discussed there are two types of brahmacharis. Yeah, Naishtiki brahmachari. Yeah, Naishtiki means one who stays as a brahmachari lifelong. Another Upakurvan, correct. One who gets married. After 25 years of training in Gurukul, he gets married. That is Upakurvan brahmachari, correct. So we discussed some examples for Upastavegam, some story and analogies. Anybody remembers? One story and few analogies or some examples we discussed about Upastavegam. Okay. One is we discussed about liquid beauty. That story of liquid beauty. A prince was attracted to a beautiful lady and she took strong purgatives and she kept all the vomit, stool, everything in pots. That story. And lot of examples we discussed about what Prabhupada said. The example of camel or how the love of this material world is temporary, illusory. Okay, so which pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam tell about the pitfalls of sex life? We discussed. Yeah, Jamil is one. Okay, Diti Kashyapa, Saubhari Muni Yati. Okay, Pururava and Urvasi. We discussed. We didn't discuss about Saubhari Muni, but yeah, that also tells. But that is mainly about offending Vaishnavas, and because of that, uh, he gets into that. But yeah, he also gets frustrated eventually. But that also talks about that. Okay, how to overcome Upastavegam? We discussed a few things. Okay, concentrate on Krishna's lotus feet. Anything else? Okay, yeah. We discussed about keeping deities as a center of family. We discussed that about our Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, how their family serves the deities. We dis Sattvic food. I don't remember discussing that in this, but yeah, that also helps surely. Also, we discussed how yeah, Bhagavatam also talks about focusing on Krishna's eyebrow. Uh, One thing is when we understand material pleasure is, yeah, correct, temporary and illusion nature, yeah, of body, that we discussed, and chastising mind, correct. Okay, next, in the second verse, the beginning, Prabhupada talks of three types of Shaktis. So why he talks about this three types of energies? The beginning of second verse, instead of directly talking about Atyahar, Prabhupada talks about not Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhikam, not that. Three types of energies. Yeah, Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. So why he talks about this? What is the reason? Just like that, to fill the book, or is there any specific reason? Yeah, we have option to choose either one. Okay, the Tatastha Shakti. So we discussed actually that Tatastha Shakti, by following or by taking shelter of Antaranga Shakti, we can have high thinking. Prabhupada emphasized on one aspect, simple living and high thinking. Okay, so for high thinking, if you are under uh, Antaranga Shakti, you can do high thinking. High thinking means Krishna consciousness, thinking about Krishna. And when you uh, are not so much attached to Bahiranga Shakti, then you can have simple living. Okay, so Prabhupada discussed that whole section to help us understand how we should take shelter of uh, Antaranga Shakti and give up taking shelter of Bahiranga Shakti to follow this simple living and high thinking. We should do that. Okay, then only we'll be able to follow that simple living and high thinking. Okay, then we discuss the two types of Atyahar. Yeah, Mahatmas take shelter of Antaranga, correct. Yeah, one is overeating, correct. Another one, yeah, over accumulating things, correct. These are two types of Atyahar. And what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said about Atyahar? What he said about Atyahar? Did he say anything specific? about Atyahar? Or nothing? Just 1 minute. Yeah, any? He told that over accumulation of books, that is also Atyahar. Okay. When we over accumulate books without reading and applying. Yeah. And what are the three types of Atyaharis? Three types of Atyaharis. We discussed about that three types of Atyaharis. Anybody? One is Bhukti Kamis, Siddhi Kamis, and uh, Bhukti Kamis, Siddhi Kamis, and this Bhukti Kami, Siddhi Kami, Sakale Ashanti. Yeah. Bhukti, Mukti, and Siddhi. These are the three types of Atyaharis. Next, what Prabhupada talks about communists and capitalists. Sorry, this. Yeah, he tells them to be thieves. Whether communists or capitalists, they are just taking the wealth of God and they are trying to enjoy. Capitalists take everything for themselves. Communists, they say they will spread, they will distribute to common public, but that is extended sense gratification. So both are thieves. Yeah. And Prabhupada quotes Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam, that verse, Ishopanishad verse. Okay. What is the best form of prayas for material well-being recommended by Krishna Prabhupada in the prayas? What they talk about? What is the best prayas which can be done? Yes. Prabhupada says if we have a cow, work more and more. If you have cow and land, yeah. Prabhupada says 1 acre land and a cow, that is sufficient to maintain family. That we discussed elaborately. Two types of prayas. Yeah, work limited and a lot more time for God. Correct. That will help us to follow simple living and high thinking. What are the two types of prayas? We discussed two type of prayas. Gnana, correct. Gnana prayas. One is Gnana prayas, endeavoring to acquire too much knowledge, correct, to attract others. And another type of prayas is karma prayas, endeavor for acquiring too many things. Yeah. So we'll go ahead now to the next topic, laulium. What is the right form of laulium? So laulium means there is difference between atyahar and laulium. Laulium means we have too many material desires, thousands of material desires in our mind. Okay. So when we have too much of greed to acquire money or things for our enjoyment, that comes under laulium, excessive material greed. So because of excessive material greed, one does prayas over endeavor, and so that he can accumulate whatever he desires. Also, because of laulium, this excessive greed, one may get into bad association, janasanga. So laulium is very dangerous. So this nice verse comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah, we'll discuss that. Greed to serve pure devotees. Yeah. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeshan Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashan Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atavayo Shant. So those who are Bhukti Kamis, Siddhi Kamis, Mukti Kamis, they are all Ashant. They cannot be peaceful. But a devotee, because he doesn't desire anything other than service to Krishna, he is peaceful. Okay. But a person who has too many material desires, he cannot be happy in this world. Okay. So this verse comes in Sri Bhagavad Gita. Trividam narakas chedam dvaram nashnam atmana kama krodhas tata lobhas tasmad etat trayam tajet. Three things Krishna is telling one should give up. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. There are three doors to hell. So Kama means desire to enjoy for oneself. I want. Lobha means he wants more enjoyment, more and more. He is not satisfied with little sense gratification. He wants more and more and more sense gratification. So Bhuktikami, Muktikami, they are also greedy. One is greedy for sense gratification. Muktikami, he wants liberation. So they can't become God here. So they want to go to Brahman effulgence and want to be God there. So Siddhikami means they also want to enjoy. They want to gain popularity by showing some powers. So Prabhupada used to say that these yogis, some of them, they walk on water, right? So to get that siddhi, sometimes so many years they have to practice. And he said, we can pay just 20 paisa and cross the river. Means that time, not now. So with small thing we can cross this river. So why to waste so much of time just to cross the river? Just 1 minute. Why to waste so much of time just for small thing? So we'll see some examples of this laulium. So Radheshyam was giving this example that somebody has so much greed that they accumulate so much wealth. So he was telling that only few Indians, 2-3 Indians itself have so much wealth that if you divide amongst all Indians, they can get 5 lakhs each. So these fellows, if they give up their lawlium, greed, material greed, they can, the whole India can be happy materially. Same way he was telling about hospitals, just to extract money from patients. Sometimes they just showcase unnecessary problems, this test, that test. And now during Corona also, so much money they are just extracting. They have increased their rates to a large degree. Then from scriptures we see examples of Duryodhan. He was not satisfied with his wealth. So when he went for Rajsuya Yajna, he became very envious. He was not able to tolerate seeing their wealth, all the gifts they were getting. And that's why he did that gambling match and took away their wealth. And later when they wanted to come back, he was not willing to give even a little land. He said, even the land for keeping the tip of needle, that much also I am not going to give. Because Pandavas, they said, you just give us 5 villages. We are Kshatriyas. We are meant to rule some land. So even if you give small 5 villages, we'll be happy. But he said, no, nothing doing. So because he want to just accumulate more and more and more for himself. Then we see Indra also, just to keep his post position. Many times whenever anyone would do any tapasya or yajna, like we see Prithu Maharaj, when he performed 100 yajnas, immediately he was afraid. He wanted to steal the horse. Or if some sage is not doing tapasya for many years, he becomes immediately afraid. So many times we see he takes unlawful means to stop their tapasya or yajna. So the root problem is this greed, excessive desire to enjoy. And Hiranyakashipu also. The word Hiranyakashipu itself means Hiranya plus Kashipu, gold and soft bed. So he has excessive greed for gold and women. So that's why with that desire he performed tapasya and later conquered the whole universe. So instead of having greed for all these material things, one can dovetail that desire for Krishna. So instead of developing greed for Maya, better we develop greed for Krishna. So we see so many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam and everywhere in the scriptures. Devotees exhibiting this greed. So Devahuti actually, she already is a perfected, she served her husband so diligently and received his blessings. But still she felt, no, I am still conditioned. And she took shelter of Lord Kapila. And she heard with great eagerness from him. Same way Lord Chaitanya, in the mood of a devotee, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he showed us how one should be greedy for Krishna. So in Jagannath Puri, when he was staying, we see how he was always absorbed in ecstatic dancing and kirtans, and always he was in so much ecstasy that whenever he used to see any sand hill, he thought of Govardhan. When he saw the ocean, he thought it is Yamuna. Many times he would just run madly seeing it. And many times because of his ecstatic symptoms, he fainted. So he showed all of us to what level actually one should develop one's love for Krishna. We are very, very far away, but one should come to the level where one develops prema, love for Krishna. So, yeah, Srila Prabhupada also, in his life, we see when he took sannyas, so when he wanted to go to West, before going to West, he went to Advaita Bhavan and he was chanting very earnestly, praying to Advaita Acharya, seeking his blessings. And also he stayed in Radha Damodar temple, constantly praying to Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, all the Goswamis, seeking their blessings, right? He always felt greatly connected to his spiritual master. He had always seeking his blessings. So, Tatra Laulyam Apeka Mulyam. The only price which we can pay to attain Krishna is this intense greed to achieve him, to attain that love for Krishna. So that is a price which we need to pay to go to Golok Vrindavan. So the Rupa Goswami also, he showed us how we should be greedy for Krishna. He said, why we should have only one tongue and 2 ears? I like to have millions of tongues and millions of ears to chant and hear the glories of Lord. So when Lord Chaitanya heard that shloka, he was so happy, so pleased with Rupa Goswami. So opposite of that is if we are greedy for name, fame, recognition. So a devotee should be very careful to avoid this greed for Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim and develop greed for Krishna. So unless we are eager to attain Krishna, it is difficult to continue. So Prabhupada said spiritual life means it is like swimming against a upstream in a ocean. It is difficult, but we have to do it. So initially it may appear like poison, Krishna consciousness, but Prabhupada said eventually it will be like nectar. So Radhesham Prabhu was telling that devotees also may have material desires. So he was telling Grasthas, so he was telling that once His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was telling in one lecture that how in Grasthas, how they compare with other Grasthas materially in terms of facilities like vehicles, or they have car, or they have better house. What about us? So such kind of material comparison can lead to material greed. Also, Rajsham was telling when he asked question in one of the classes that how much money is required for one to settle in life, in the sense where after that one need not so much put material efforts. So he was telling many people gave many different answers. So if somebody has too much what you call material desires, then he may feel that a lot of money is required to settle in life. Also, some devotees, he was telling, instead of balancing material life and spiritual life, one may become preoccupied in material progress, neglecting Krishna consciousness. So he said that is bhukti kami. If somebody is only focusing on his job and raising children and not balancing Krishna conscious activities, then that comes under Bhukti Kami. So he was telling, even when a man and woman they want to get married, they should be very careful in choosing the partner who is who is less greedy, so that he can be peaceful, he or she can be peaceful. So then he was telling about brahmacharis, how this laulyam applies to brahmacharis. So for brahmacharis, he said, if somebody wants to accumulate more and more knowledge without requirement, unnecessarily, without taking guidance of superiors, you just want to accumulate to show off to people, that comes under this laulyam. So there is this nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells how one should never be satiated or satisfied. Vayantu na vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame yashrinvatam rasagnanam swadu swadu pade pade. So one can never be satiated even when one continuously hears the pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into transcendental relationship with Krishna relish these glories at every step. These descriptions of the Lord. So even if a devotee hears the same pastime again, still he relishes. So Prabhupada says, how can someone hear the same thing and still not get bored? So like, for example, someone can read Bhagavad Gita in the beginning of his spiritual life and maybe after some years also. But the realizations which he gets are different. The same shloka, Krishna may reveal in a different way to him, right? After some years of practice. How? Because according to the surrender, etamam prabhadyante tam stataiva bhajami. So according to the surrender, Krishna also reveals himself accordingly. So the more you surrender, the more the scriptures also reveal. Okay. So one of the 64 items in Nectar of Devotion mentions that one should not read too many books which are not authorized by Guru. So in Vedic times, the brahmacharis, they have no books. In the sense, they are called Shritudar. They hear once and they remember. But now situation is not like that. So books are available everywhere, and on internet you get so much information, even about Krishna consciousness. So many organizations, so many books are available. So if you neglect Prabhupada books and if you just keep on reading new information, then Rajesh Amru is telling that kind of collecting information is condemned. So we should do in-depth study of Prabhupada books. So Gaur Govind Maharaj used to tell that Prabhupada books are like ocean. So if you only search the superficial waters, you will get only fish, right, in ocean. But if you go deep, then you get jewels. So same way Prabhupada books, if you just superficially study, you will think, oh, Prabhupada is telling same thing. Your soul, you are not body, Krishna is supreme, and develop love for Krishna. ये तो same बोल रहे. We may feel too much repetitive and there is nothing new. But actually, if we carefully study, there are so many wonderful realizations Prabhupada gives. If you study, for example, Bhagavatam, there are so many wonderful shlokas with amazing purports. So we need to study those purports. We need to read. We should again remember those, contemplate, and try to apply in our life, how I can apply this in my life. We should think like that. How this particular thing I can apply in my life, we should think. Okay. So when we do in-depth study, what are the advantages? So we can apply them, we can get nice realizations. And also when we deal with the world around us, we can see the world around us with that knowledge. So many people have knowledge, but they don't have adhikar to understand it. Because sometimes people read Radha Krishna Leela intimate pastimes, although they are not authorized or they are not given permission, they illegally get those books and they read it. So, like some people may want to hear Radha Krishna Leela. So once a life member couple, they asked Prabhupada, can you please tell some Ras Leela pastimes? Prabhupada was silent. They again asked. He said, I am not qualified. You may be qualified to hear, but I am not qualified to speak. So if Prabhupada feels like that, and what about us? So we should just hear from Guru. Whatever Guru says, that is going to lead us to perfection. We should not worry, oh, maybe I'm missing something. Or some people are offering Siddha Pranali. Siddha Pranali means they are telling what is my eternal form in spiritual world. They are saying all that. Maybe Prabhupada is not telling. In ISKCON, we are not knowing all this. Maybe better I should go and hear. So all such kind of things may come. Thoughts, this kind of material desires may come. So that's why His Holiness Bhaktichar Maharaj, he gave many lectures on how Prabhupada gave us everything. Whatever is required to go back home, back to God, is there in Prabhupada books. So we should have that faith and we should stick to it. Instead of jumping like monkey here and there, we'll get nothing, right? We'll end up nowhere. So, oh sorry, here there is some problem. I have to remove this. Okay, next slide. Yeah. So somebody sometimes has a desire to speak something new. So that's okay, but we can hear from those who are authorized instead of trying to hear from outside ISKCON sources. And in case sometimes if we hear something which is totally new, we can ask also from where they have heard those things. So like His Holiness Jayadev Swami Maharaj says, somebody was asked like where you got this. So he was not able to tell. Then Jayadev Swami Maharaj said, this is from WhatsApp Puran. So sometimes there is no proper source for some story or some pastime. So if you don't know the source, proper source, then we need not tell. So we need not read some esoteric stories to tell others. So Radhesham was telling, there is Krishna Kathamrit by His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj. His disciples run it. So that has very nice articles and some pastimes of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained nicely. So if we read the esoteric stories purchasing books from Vrindavan, we may get unnecessarily agitated, our mind senses. So there is this Govind Leelamrit, which talks about intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur uh, did not publish it, and he told his son Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur that you should not publish this. Only you should read it, and that's all. And because this book cannot be understood by anybody else. So one need not have greed to unnecessarily hear all such pastimes. So there is many so-called sahajiyas, those who hear all this kind of pastimes and they get distracted. So only when we completely transcend material desires in our heart, then we will be able to actually understand these pastimes. Otherwise, these are like poison for the conditioned soul. So what should be condemned and what should not be? So Kadam Karan Swami Maharaj says that Prabhupada books are like rice, dal, sabji, chapati, the main course of food. And other books should be read like, just like in when we take prasad, chutney is little bit taken sometimes. Same way, other books should be read like that. And accumulating knowledge so that one can be well known to acquire some post position, that is condemned. Even collecting too much videos or lectures just for storing without actually hearing them or taking advantage also comes under this category. Because if you too much keep on accumulating, so more time goes in maintaining that data. So learning some skills like Mridam Kartal for pleasure of Krishna, that is not under the category of greed. If you are doing it to please Krishna. But if somebody wants to learn some complicated ragas to impress others, so then that is not recommended. So also, if somebody takes up too much responsibility in Krishna consciousness, and means too many services just to influence others, just to increase one's influence on others, to show off or to show how he is great, to impress others, that also comes under laulyam. But one should not take the other extreme of not taking any responsibility. Prabhupada always encouraged taking more and more responsibility for pleasure of Krishna. But it should be balanced with sadhana. So also there could be laulyam in eating. So Radheshamra was telling, once one devotee went to a brahmachari, had gone to Grihastha's house and they gave him a lot of dry fruits. So he filled all his pockets and he was eating also a lot. So then the senior asked him, why you are filling all your pockets and eating so much? So he said, we rarely get this. So such kind of greed is not recommended. So how do we know that we are falling in the category of laulyam? If somebody is getting tired and frustrated with the amount of work he is doing or the service he is doing, instead of being peaceful, his mind and senses are too much disturbed. Like we see, if somebody does too much service without doing sadhana, he will be also be frustrated. Very easily he becomes angry, uh, or even if you touch him, he will be, frustrated. He will show that frustration in his words and actions. So instead of developing this sort of material greed, one should develop spiritual greed. So Chaitanya Charitamrita quotes this verse: Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhaitamati Kriyatam Yadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Laulyam Apekya Mulyam Janma Koti Sikrite Na Labhyate. So pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by one thing, that is by uh, having an intense greed to achieve Krishna. So we discussed one story of Guru and disciple in one of the past classes, how that Guru disciple got initiated and he said, I am not seeing any symptoms and all. I am chanting Hare Krishna. So Guru took him to that river and kept dipped him in the river, his head, so much that he was not able to breathe also. Then he said, same way, if you how you felt while being in water. He said, I wanted to breathe. I was completely helpless. So Guru said, same way, if you are completely helpless, uh, fully eager for Krishna, then you can get that love for Krishna, not automatically. So those who are greedy for Krishna, they are ready to throw away everything other than Krishna consciousness aside to get Krishna. Whatever is required to achieve Krishna Prem, I am ready to do it. Whatever price, price means not money, means whatever is required to do to achieve Krishna Prem, I am ready to do that. So if we associate with devotees who have such greed to achieve Krishna, then we can also become greedy for Krishna. So Radhesham was telling the Lalasamai prayers which the acharyas have sung, these also express one's greed for Krishna. So he was telling Tulsi Aarti is a song expressing our greed to achieve Krishna. Jayato Mara Sharanaloy. Oh, not this. Sorry. That is different song. Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha. Radha Krishna Seva Prabhu E Abhilashi. Oh, Jay Tomar Sharanaloy Tara Mancha Purna Hoy. Kripa Kori Korotari Vrindavanevasi. So we are taking shelter of Tulsi Maharani so that we can achieve Vrindavan. So even when Rup and Sanatan they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for first time, they also expressed this greed to achieve Krishna. So they said they felt as if they are like dwarfs who want to touch the moon. So although they felt they are completely unqualified, but they had a very strong desire to achieve the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One minute, somebody. Actually, don't do this annotation. It is wasting time. So, Yeah, Kabe Habe Bolos, Sedina Amar, that song also. Yeah. So, so they express their strong desire to achieve Krishna. So a devotee, simultaneously he feels very fallen uh, to stand before Krishna. He feels completely unqualified, and at the same time he has the highest of aspiration to become a gopi or Saki in Vrindavan. So this is the transcendental contradiction which we see in the lives of devotee, that they want to achieve the highest goal, and at the same time they feel completely unqualified. So in this famous song Radha Krishna Pranamur, so in this particular line we see when they when we sing Chamara Dulavo Kave Heri Mukha Chandra. So here we see he wants to serve Radha Krishna directly by doing chamar and watching their lotus like faces. And later he's saying Agnaya Koribo Seva Charanaravinda. He wants to serve under the under some gopis, assist them. So so it is a transcendental contradiction. So devotees want, because they serve Krishna so much, they love Krishna so much, so they want to serve him directly. But at the same time, they also feel they are not qualified. They are so humble, so they want to assist uh, gopis. So they have eagerness to serve Guru sometimes, and at the same time, they want to assist the servants of the Guru. Both we see. Okay. Is my voice okay? As I said last time, if anybody sometimes feels that voice is not well, you can first check with other devotees. Oh, it is breaking. Huh? Okay. So I'll 1 minute. I'll just change the internet here. The internet, this problem is there. 1 minute. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Now, uh, now I connected to another thing, another this thing. Now I think it will not be a problem. Now is it okay, voice? Hare Krishna, now is it okay, voice? Now I connected to different this thing. Okay, fine, thank you. There was problem with one this thing. Yeah. So why greed for Krishna decreases? So Rajashamra was telling when we uh, initially come to Krishna consciousness, we have eagerness, but eventually we may lose that eagerness, because we may become tired with Krishna consciousness, because we know the philosophy, everything. We know what to do, what not to do, but we may lose the eagerness to, we may lose our enthusiasm to perform devotional activities. The same kind of eagerness, excitement to perform Krishna conscious activities may not come. So he was telling various reasons for this could be, if we do Vaishnava Aparadha, then Krishna takes away our taste for Krishna consciousness. So then we'll not like to perform. Also, when we don't hear regularly, then when we don't understand the glories of devotional service, for example, chanting, if you don't hear the glories of holy name, then you may not find so much interest in chanting. Also, when we perform offenses in our 10 offenses, if we commit any of those offenses, then also we lose taste. And if we have duplicity, Lord Chaitanya, as he said, he doesn't like duplicity, then we can't get mercy of Krishna. So then we'll not have taste. And if we break the 4 regulative principles, then we lose the taste. So these are few reasons for losing our enthusiasm or eagerness to serve Krishna. That greed which we initially had. So when we associate with those devotees who have that greed, then it is awakened, that greed for Krishna. So as our greed for Krishna increases, we should only accept Krishna from others and give Krishna to others. This is the principle we should remember. And material laulyam is condemned and spiritual laulyam is always glorified. So material desire is always insatiable. We never get satisfied. No matter how much we work hard to acquire material things, ultimately it is detrimental to our spiritual life, and we remain ashant. We can't be peaceful in our lives. So we should always give first priority to Krishna consciousness. Just like chanting, instead of doing so many other activities in the beginning of the day, we can, after taking bath, fully focus on chanting. We can get up early in the morning and try to chant our rounds and then start other activities. So that means we are giving first priority to Krishna. But if we have so many other priorities, then we get distracted. So Radheshambhara was telling that those who are little serious, for them Maya comes in different way. She tells that she confuses us with priorities. So she tells us we should give priority to other things first. Krishna is anyway there. She says that don't be too fanatical about spiritual life. Everything is okay. You can go back home, back to Godhead. Don't worry. Why you are too serious about spiritual life? So like that, one may slowly get distracted. So Maya enters like needle, comes out like a plow. So there is story of sheikh and camel. So there was one camel and one sheikh was staying in a tent. It was very cold. So the camel said, "Oh sheikh, I am shaking in the cold. Please help me. Give me little entrance in your tent." Sheikh felt pity and said, okay, come inside little. So then after some time it said, no, it's more cold, please. I can't stay outside. They said, okay. So like that, slowly, camel kicked the sheikh out. and it sat completely inside the tent. So same way Maya also enters, same way. Initially it will say, oh, little bit, no, you can also do sense gratification. What is the problem? So go for it. And like that, Maya slowly but surely distracts a sadhaka. So that's why a devotee should give first priority to Krishna. So if we keep Krishna consciousness as first priority, then surely we'll develop taste. So if you don't give Krishna consciousness first priority, then we'll lose taste. So Krishna reciprocates as per our desire. Etamam prapadyante. If we show intense desire to achieve him, he will surely reciprocate. So if we are not eager, if we are not eagerly offering our consciousness, if we are not intense enough, Krishna also doesn't reciprocate. So then we get attracted to lower pleasures of this world. So when we forget our goals, the ultimate destination to achieve Golok or to achieve Krishna Prem, and we are having other goals, that means we are getting distracted. Okay, so that is about Laulyam. So before we go to the other enthusiasm, that next third verse, Utsaha Nishyadarya. So we will do little bit revision of Prajalpa and Niyamagraha, which we discussed last time. So Prabhupada talks about proper use of tongue in terms of Prajalpa. What is right use of tongue and wrong use of tongue? We discussed some examples, some shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam. Anybody remembers? For the right use of tongue and wrong use of tongue. Yeah, one is frog, yeah, okay. Quacking of frog. Another, we discussed about crows, how the materialistic people, they are compared to crows who talk about all nonsense. And then we discussed the example of swans. Devotees are compared to swans who discuss about Krishna. And another thing we discussed about the women of Hastinapur who were glorifying or always talking about Krishna, hearing about his glories. Yeah. Then what are the different types of Prajalpa? We discussed many different types of Prajalpa. Unfavorable Prajalpas. Nobody remembers. Unwanted, unnecessary talk, okay. What exactly are those? See, debates, arguments, then fault finding, then talking about gossip, talking behind the back, mundane talks, all this come under unnecessary prajalpa. Okay, what doesn't come under prajalpa? We discussed there are few things which doesn't come under prajalpa. No, Krishna Katha obviously doesn't come. See, one thing we discussed there was in scriptures. Scriptures, there are some examples about that. Yeah, like we see Sukadeva Goswami chastising materialists. That is not prajalpa, right? Or if a guru chastises disciple who has distracted, who got distracted, that doesn't come under prajalpa. If something is done for the welfare of, with the intention to please Krishna, for the welfare of the person, that doesn't come under prajalpa. And anything which can help us to develop uh, our relationship with the Lord. Yeah, also about discussing the ill effects of material nature, that also doesn't come under prajalpa. Correct. How to avoid prajalpa? How can we avoid prajalpa? Yeah, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, he himself every day he used to study Srimad Bhagavatam with Gadadhar Pandit. Yeah. So by constantly endeavoring to discuss about Krishna and services in relation with Krishna. Yeah. What are the two types of niyama graha? We discussed there are two types of niyama graha. Yeah, completely neglecting niyama graha and niyama agraha, or yeah, over following the rules without uh, following the spirit. Correct. Following the rules and regulations without understanding the spirit, and another is completely neglecting the rules and regulations. So what is the most important rule in Krishna consciousness? That rule is most important. All other rules are subservient to this rule. Nobody knows? No. Yeah, simple living, high thinking, but exact to all, yeah, correct. To always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Correct. So that is the most important rule. All other rules are subservient to this rule. Okay. Can we break some rules sometimes? Is it okay? Or should we never break any rule? Any rules of etiquette or yeah, for higher purpose, sometimes we can break a lower rule. Correct. Like we discussed the example of Govinda crossing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to serve him. Yeah. Why we don't follow some rules and regulations? Sometimes there are some reasons we discussed. Sometimes we don't follow. Yeah, laziness, correct. Whimsical nature, correct. You can tell in the chat. Yeah, when it is difficult to follow, uh, we try to keep it aside. Pride also, yeah, sometimes somebody has too much pride, he may neglect following the rules. Yeah, when there is inconvenience, correct. So you're all correct. We all gave good answers. So now we'll go to the next uh, Utsaha. 1 minute. I have to just open it. So yeah. So Utsaha means enthusiasm. Prabhupada defines it in the third sloka, that Utsaha means endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. This is Utsaha. So you'll recite this verse. Utsaha nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte shabdir bhakti prasiddhyati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, all this, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. So these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So these 6 things are most favorable for Krishna conscious execution. So which are favorable we accept, and which are not favorable we reject, right? So Prabhupada explains in this particular section, again in the beginning, I'll send, I forgot to send the PPTs. I will send all the second sloka PPTs. Uh, that's Siddhant proof. So again, as in the first and second sloka, same way, in third sloka also Prabhupada, with before explaining Utsaha, he explains few other things. Okay. So he explains what is devotional service and what is not devotional service. Why? Because if we don't explain that, then people don't know where to apply Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya. Exactly for what we should be enthusiastic, for what we should not be enthusiastic. That has to be explained first, right? Then only they will exactly know for what should I be enthusiastic. So Prabhupada says in the beginning that devotional service is not a sentimental speculation. So once one Prabhupada disciple asked, Prabhupada, while chanting, I am seeing some light. Then Prabhupada said, you continue chanting, that light will go away. Prabhupada never encouraged any sentimental speculation. He wanted his disciples to understand or come to conclusion with proper philosophical understanding, not with sentimental speculation. He never encouraged. So then one another disciple asked, Prabhupada, what it means? Nikunjayono Ratikeli Siddhai. What it means? Prabhupada said, Nikunjayono means going for book distribution. Doing book distribution, that is Nikunjayono. So one disciple in Vrindavan, he was given service of construction and counting cement bags. He said, Prabhupada, I came to Vrindavan to chant Radhe Radhe, see all the pastimes and hear about all intimate pastimes, go to Radha Kund. Prabhupada said, for you, Radha Kund means counting the cement bags. Because with our material vision, what we can see, when you please a guru, he can reveal us. When we sincerely serve, otherwise it will merely become a eye exercise, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. And Prabhupada himself, he actually showed how to serve Guru. He worked so hard for the sake of preaching, traveling all over the world, and even before in India, so much hard work he did. So when someone serves like that, then one get realizations. Otherwise, one will only do speculation. Also, Prabhupada said devotional service is not imaginative ecstasy. So, the Sahajiyas are those who show off as if they are pure devotees, as if they have got some special siddhis, or in the sense they have attained the perfection of Krishna Prem. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, the Sahajiya's tears actually wash away the conclusions of all the Vedas. It is like a barren woman saying that she has got a child. So the Acharyas never encouraged this. We see also in Haridas Thakur, once when we heard the snake charmer singing, so he immediately remembered Krishna and Kaliya, that pastime, and he went into great ecstasy and became unconscious. Everybody around him appreciated, they understood he is a great devotee. So one fellow who saw, he thought, now I understood how I can become famous. So he also, one day when the snake charmer was singing, he started falling on the ground, rotating. Then the snake charmer himself came and started kicking him because he understood that this fellow is not a true devotee. He is just showing off. So such kind of things are not encouraged. So we should not just try to show off. So Prabhupada said devotional service is actually practical cultivation. It is not something imaginary or speculation. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he said, actually Krishna consciousness is a real social service activity. Even when we see first time when he met Prabhupada was following Gandhiji and he was for independence. He said, what is the use of independence? Krishna consciousness is immediate urgency. The only thing lacking in this world, he said, is Krishna consciousness. Even after independence, he said, India will suffer. The real solution for all problems is only Krishna consciousness. So actually bringing people to Krishna consciousness is real social service. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, our pujari ringing bell for the pleasure of Radha Krishna is millions of times more pleasurable to Krishna than doing no, any kind of social service. We should have that faith. The acharyas have taught us, because all that service is only temporary. But still, even then, devotees also, like Prabhupada, he started Food for Life and all to help the suffering souls, even materially. So they get benefited both spiritually and materially by honoring Prasad. So then Prabhupada quotes this verse, how we should do devotional service. Anya bilashita shunyam gnana karmadi anavritam anukulena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. So this verse tells about how we should render pure devotional service. So there are three primary symptoms. One is it should always be under guidance, it should be favorable, and it should be for Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure. And there are two secondary symptoms. That is, one should have no other material desires, and it should be free from jnana and karma. So this is how one should perform pure devotional service. Okay, if you have any question, you can always ask in the chat. Don't raise hand, please. So when Prabhupada then explains what is this bhakti. Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. So when we say cultivation, it refers to activity. We can't. So Prabhupada says cultivation of spirituality doesn't mean that you just go and sit down without doing anything. No, you have to perform certain activities. You can't sit idly. So he tells there are some pseudo yogis who teach meditation, but the whole goal of this meditation is just to stop the nonsensical activities for time being. But devotional service not only stops all these nonsensical activities, but also engages our mind and senses in meaningful devotional activities. So our mind gets a higher taste. So then there is no chance for falling down. Otherwise, in other processes, because they are not engaged properly, there is every chance of falling down. So then Prabhupada talks about importance of Shravanam, how someone gets into Krishna consciousness by mercy of Guru and Krishna, one gets the seed of bhakti. Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij. But after getting that seed, Prabhupada says one should hear from Guru. One should approach the Guru submissively and serve him, inquire relevant questions from him. He quotes Tadvidhi Pranipatena, and he also quotes Tad Vignanardham Sai Evam Gurum Eva Vigachat. One should approach the Guru to inquire about transcendental knowledge, to gain transcendental knowledge. So then Prabhupada tells, by hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, one is watering the seed of bhakti. That is how one nourishes. And one should also be careful to remove the weeds which block the growth of this seed of bhakti. So a devotee should take this process, Prabhupada says, very, very enthusiastically. And in every field, Prabhupada says, to get success, people are very enthusiastic. So not only spiritual, in spiritual field, but even in material field, if you want to be successful, you have to be enthusiastic. You have to be determined. So we see like students who want to get into IIT, they are enthusiastic about it. So they are ready to study 10, 12, 14, 18 hours, giving up even sleep. Or Prabhupada tells about business people who are too greedy to get wealth. They also skip their sleep. So same way in spiritual circle also, to achieve goal of Krishna Prem, a devotee should be enthusiastic. But what to be enthusiastic for? We want to be enthusiastic, but for what? So one should always act for Krishna. For the sake of Krishna, we should be enthusiastic. Krishnarthe akila chesta. So Prabhupada quotes this. So for the sake of pleasing Krishna, we should be enthusiastic. But for our own sense gratification, we should never be enthusiastic. So then Prabhupada says, okay, now we can do devotional service. So but what is that, or how we should engage ourselves? So then Prabhupada says, quotes Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtna. Everything in this world is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. So everything belongs to Krishna. So understanding that everything belongs to Krishna, a disciple under the direction of spiritual master, he offers everything in Krishna's service. And Prabhupada gives the example of dictaphone. Says this dictaphone is made of all material elements, but still we use this dictaphone in Krishna service, right? Although this is made of material elements, one understands all this come from Krishna. So we although scientists have made it, so we use it because it belongs to Krishna. It doesn't belong to scientists. Krishna gave them intelligence to make it, and all the materials are given by Krishna. So we use what things are given by Krishna in his service. So that is Yukta Vairagya. So what is Utsaha? Utsaha means enthusiasm. The endeavor which is executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called Utsaha. So this definition is very important. Any endeavor executed with intelligence, not mindlessly, and in Krishna consciousness. Because many people also endeavor with intelligence, but not for Krishna, for their sense gratification. That is not Utsaha. So, and it comes from this enthusiasm comes from a Greek word, entheos. It means from inside. Means this enthusiasm comes from inside, and it is awarded by the Lord. When the Lord sees our eagerness to serve Him, He offers us this enthusiasm, and it manifests externally. So without enthusiasm, we can't change people. And to the degree we have enthusiasm, we can change people around us. So Radheshyam Prabhu gave this example of Jayanand Prabhu. So he was so eager to serve. Seeing his enthusiasm to serve, it was contagious. So although he was so senior, but he used to take away all the dustbins or build rath carts and very enthusiastically serve prasad to everyone. So, and he used to even catch a newcomer and engage him in Krishna service. Once he was constructing a rath cart. He saw one person, he called him, he said, can you please help me in constructing this? So he said, no, please hold the nail and I'll hit it. And he engaged him for long time. So, and eventually that person became a devotee. So he is His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. So like this, Jayanand Prabhu introduced so many people to Krishna consciousness by his enthusiasm. So another story Rosie told about Charlie Chaplin. So once he sits on a chair and there was something which his pant got struck in. When he gets up, no, he this was actually told by Prabhupada in one of the lectures. So his back gets torn, and when he gets up, people start laughing. But Charlie Chaplin then he starts dancing very enthusiastically, even with that. So then seeing that, everybody thinks that, oh, he's still happy even after this. That means maybe this is a new style. Then everybody starts staring versus their pant, and they also start dancing, thinking that this is a new style. So that he tells us for enthusiasm. So enthusiasm can make a very big difference in our lives. If you are not enthusiastic, then things don't move. So once two rats they fell into a big what you call patela of buttermilk. So then other rats they said now they are finished, gone. So one rat got discouraged and it sank in that and died. Another rat was very enthusiastic. It started moving around fastly, and it became butter, and eventually it jumped up using the butter. So because of its enthusiasm, the rat got saved. So same way initially, sometimes because of our anarthas or some doubts, some confusions, we may not have enthusiasm. But when we grow gradually in Krishna consciousness, when we sincerely practice, all these anarthas and confusions will go away. So we should never give up our determination or enthusiasm to practice Krishna consciousness. So just like elephant, sometimes this Mahot, the trainer, he ties elephant in its childhood to some small bamboo, or some pillar, small pillar. So, but when the elephant grows, still they tie it to the same small pillar. So actually the elephant can very easily uproot that stick or whatever pillar when it grows. But because it became conditioned from childhood, thinking that, oh no, this is very strong and I cannot, overcome this. So although it is so strong, actually it can easily, destroy that pillar and even the trainer. But because of becoming conditioned, it fully gets controlled by that Mahot. So same way, actually by developing spiritual strength, we can overcome all our anarthas. But we become conditioned by our anarthas. We feel that no, these anarthas are very strong. I can never overcome this. So we put more faith in anarthas than Krishna. So a devotee is supposed to have more faith in the process than the anarthas. Actually, if we think that these anarthas can never be overcome, that means we are trusting Maya more than Krishna, right? A devotee is supposed to have more faith in Krishna, not in Maya, right? So, with that enthusiasm, we should go ahead. So enthusiasm is the lifeline for a devotee. Without enthusiasm, we cannot go ahead. So bhakti means cultivation, and enthusiasm is that cultivation. So just like in summer, when we sow a seed, we may have to water it regularly so that the seed or the plant grows properly. And some seasons we may not need much water. We may have to put some pesticides. So same way, the seed of bhakti. Mhm. So sometimes, according to time, place, circumstances, there will be a lot of ups and downs in spiritual life. So taking guidance of our superiors, we should very carefully practice our Krishna consciousness, and we should never forget uh, watering the seed of bhakti or nurturing the seed of bhakti. So the faith, Shraddha, is the heart, and enthusiasm is the backbone of bhakti. So without faith and this enthusiasm, we can't expect the seed of bhakti to grow properly. So to the degree we follow this enthusiasm, to that degree we can make progress. And without enthusiasm, whatever faith we have acquired eventually will be shadowed over. We may lose taste for the process of Krishna consciousness. So initially, many people have enthusiasm to perform Krishna conscious activities, but eventually they may lose taste mm, because of not doing those activities enthusiastically. So to always be enthusiastic, we have to keep on giving challenges, both internally and externally. So what are those internal challenges? So we all have certain conditionings and another's. So we have to take up some austerity of extra chanting or extra reading, uh, or something like that, so that we focus on removing it. Because if we don't focus, then the dust will keep accumulating. Just like suppose if you don't focus on cleaning the house, then usually eventually a lot of dust will accumulate, right? Same way our heart is also like that. And externally also we should take up challenges in terms of taking some responsibilities. So in that way we can always remain enthusiastic. But if you don't take any challenges in terms of sadhana or services, then we'll not remain enthusiastic. We'll become dull. So Radheshan was telling his own father in childhood, he used to train him in so many things. He was telling. First in Hindi, typing level 1, English, level 1, level 2, level 3. And then after that he said, now you learn Hindi typing, level 1, level 2, level 3. He asked him, why, no, why Hindi? And he said, no, uh, in future it will be useful. So then Rajesh was telling, yeah, actually it was useful to type fastly, and also he learned how to speak very nicely. So he was telling his father never kept him unengaged. He was telling constantly he was engaging him in learning different things. So same way, a devotee should keep himself always engaged in Krishna consciousness. So Radheshan Prabhu says that if we have 24 hours, we should plan for 26 hours. We should have no time for Maya. Because we have so much time, empty, idle mind is, we say, devil's workshop. No, that is Maya's workshop. What is the devil? Maya. So when nothing is there, our mind will think of what? Maya only. So that's why a devotee should plan in such a way that there is no time for Maya. So we'll end here today. We'll continue the reasons for lacking enthusiasm next time. So anybody has any questions regarding what we discussed? So last time I was telling about this value education contest based on Bhagavad Gita. So that is a nice way by which you can engage in some service, as we discussed about enthusiasm and being engaged. So physically we may not have much service to do in temple, especially now, but sitting at home, at least you can do that service. So if anybody has any questions, they can ask. Otherwise, we'll end. I think nobody has any questions. So please pass the information to your friends and well-wishers and social media groups about that value education contest. So there is a website called onlinevec.com. You can go through that. You'll get entire information about this contest. Also, we shared some pamphlets and videos also in the WhatsApp groups. So you can go through that. Yes, Prabhu, if you have any question. So there is a booklet based on Bhagavad Gita in it, which talks about